Today I'm going to demonstrate a Rhodes stitch, which is a nice way to give some dimension and emphasis to a circle. So to look at a finished example, you can see here that this purple circle in the center has a 3D effect compared to the flat satin stitching around it. That is a Rhodes stitch. And a Rhodes stitch is very similar to satin stitch, except that you're intentionally rotating your way around so the stitches cross over each other to create dimension instead of placing stitches side by side to create flat satin stitch. So let's take a quick look at this using just a simple circle. Like with satin stitch, you're going across the circle and kind of looping around underneath. But in this case, I'm going to go up in the middle and down across the way. I may be slightly off because of the camera setup, but you should try to do it in the middle. So instead of a satin stitch, where I would be placing my next stitch alongside, boom, 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 parallel to this, I intentionally want to rotate to cross over. So I would come up, in this case, just to the right of the stitch that I made. But instead of putting it down straight to the right at the top, I want to go to the left at the top. That's the crossover. And you just keep doing that. So my next stitch will go just to the right of it on the bottom. And just to the left of the one that we had on the top. And you can already see that crossover starting to form. That is what will give it that three-dimensional effect. And be careful with your tension. You want to pull these taut, but not so tight that it will pucker your fabric. And it helps, if you want to do a perfect Rhodes stitch, you want to try to really evenly space how close together you're going on the bottom side and on the top side, on those two opposing sides. Which I'm not doing very well today because of the setup, to not put my head in your way. But you want to create it so that ideally by the time you're at the halfway point, your stitches are evenly going across the other direction rather than off. But even if they're slightly off, don't worry about it, don't stress. It'll create a beautiful effect by the end. So you just keep going in this way where you're ever so slightly rotating your stitch at the crossover at each stitch until you get all the way around and have full coverage. And you just want to be not seeing any of your fabric by the end, but only the full stitch. And when you're finished, that crossover will look like this, where it will have a nice little bump to it and it will have filled the whole circle. And that's it for the Rhodes stitch. Thanks for watching.